Joining us live here again is the former editor of the Sunday Express and OK magazine, Martin Townsend. Martin, we'll start off with the procession today. What did you think?
I just thought it was astonishing, the whole thing, because I think it was basically the family sort of obviously marching along behind the coffin, and then all of the people sort of along the pavement. So it was sort of the nation and the family kind of mourning side by side. And as you said earlier, such a colourful spectacle, and the crown sort of glittering on the top there, hugely moving. And that extraordinary silence that you've already mentioned.
Let's talk about William and Harry. They were side by side. There's a lot of hope that there's a unifying moment, but I haven't seen anyone like yourself who thinks it will be at all lasting. And it was so notable, almost a branding, that he wasn't allowed to wear his military uniform because he's not a working royal.
Yeah, and it seems slightly unfair when the Duke of York was allowed to wear his, on this last occasion anyway. But yeah, I mean, and I don't think he was terribly happy about it, frankly.
No,
but
he didn't look it.
No, but I think apart from that, everything, I think that maybe was one sort of small problem there. But I think largely the idea was to sort of involve Harry, involve the Duchess of Sussex as well, and try and keep the peace during this period.
What about the King? He's started off, and it's been faultless, really. I mean, because it's an unrelenting schedule that he's kept at the moment. While he's mourning the loss of his own mum, there has been some flashes of a tantrum that we've seen with the pen, which I'm sure people can forgive him for. But, I mean, he's 73, I think.
What about the guy that gave him the pen? Do we forgive him?
Yeah. But he's 73 now, right? I mean, he's going to have to pace himself, isn't he? He might end up with health troubles of his own down the track.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly is going to have to pace himself. And I think he's also going to have to get himself into a different mindset, really, from being that kind of questioning individual that was the Prince of Wales, kind of involved with all of these causes, architecture, farming, the environment. Yeah. He's going to have to sit back quite a bit more, not come forward and ask those questions quite so much. I mean, he said he wants to, but I don't think it will work if he does that. I think it would be disastrous for him. And it was interesting. I mean, he disappeared off today. Obviously, had a day off.
Back to Highgrove.
Essentially. And that was a period of reflection, and I think he will be thinking, right, how do I approach the next few days, and how do I approach the next few weeks? Because these next few days and weeks are really absolutely significant for him. He's got to set the right tone.
Martin, it strikes me that he has incredible support from two very strong women. Yeah. One in the Queen's consort, Camilla, but the other one in his sister, his only sister, the Princess Royal. Yeah,
she's been astonishing. I mean, she's been astonishing throughout the Queen's reign as well. They're so hard-working. And like the Queen, always stayed back, said very little, but it was all there in her face, the sort of stoic kind of sense of duty. And let's not write off Camilla either. I mean, she's very much, you mentioned Camilla, she's been Charles's rock all the way through, and she is an incredibly popular with the public now. She's built her sort of popularity, and with the press here as well, with the media. I mean, she's incredible with the media.
Do you think, from a local point of view, when it comes to the monarchy, is it where's it at the moment? Is it strong here, feelings towards the monarchy, and it's going to ride a wave of goodwill, I would have thought, for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, it's definitely very, very strong this week. I mean, we've seen it. Anyone who's in any doubt about the fact that the British love the Queen and love the monarchy, they wouldn't have been in any doubt. Having seen the way that the public has been over the last few days, whether that will last, who knows? And a lot of that is going to be down to the King. He's already talked about the weight on his shoulders. Talked a lot about the heaviness of the monarchy, and it's going to weigh very heavily on him.
Particularly as some nations threaten to walk away from it.
Yeah, but one wonders also whether that kind of wave of goodwill that has come from this very, very sad occasion will actually work within the Commonwealth as well, and perhaps some people will change their minds. Who knows? I mean, the world has changed and moved on a bit, sort of strictly speaking, but maybe it'll be enough just to keep some of those people with the monarchy. Yeah.
Martin, we see these 4 days of official mourning. Londoners, people from all over the country, able to go and pay their last respects. There's another private moment after the funeral as the Queen heads home to Windsor to be with Prince Philip.
Yes, reunited with Philip, and for eternity, and all, what we're conscious of all the way through this is all planned by the Queen. This is exactly as the Queen wanted it. So, that whole plan to keep Philip sort of, not inter him at that point and have the pair of them interred together is quite extraordinary. I mean, it is the kind of the final touch, really.
Can we just close on this story we were talking about a little bit before about a funny story that you had with the Queen, a funny moment that actually became a very popular story.
Yes.
In her dealings with you. You met her a couple of times.
Yeah, well, it was actually from the first time I met her. I met her at Windsor Castle in 2002, and I was with a couple of other journalists, a couple of other tabloid journalists, and she sort of strolled across, and her first words to us were, "How is Mr Beckham's metatarsal?" Which is obviously like a reference to David Beckham's foot injury that he just had, and whether he was going to play in the World Cup and everything. So of course we didn't really know. I mean, we knew as much as anyone else, but we had a chat. It broke the ice, which was very typical of the Queen, and we sort of talked about other things. She talked a bit about the way in which Windsor Castle had been restored after the fire and all of that. Yeah. But it was lovely, really lovely.
Yeah, Did she have a team? Did she have a team?
She didn't. Oh, we didn't talk about her team.
I'd love to know.
William is Aston Villa, isn't he?
She has a way of breaking the ice. We had this conversation with Chris Waller, our champion racehorse trainer, yesterday, and he shared a story with us about how he was at the races with her, and she had the dogs with her, and she got a biscuit from the table and cracked it in half and put half of it on Chris's knee and said, in motion for him to help feed the corgis, which is sweet, actually.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Like, she puts
definitely
had that quality.
She wasn't a commoner, but she had the common touch almost.
Absolutely had the common touch.
Martin, pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Yeah.